On your Thursday episode of Locked On Raptors, the Charlotte Hornets beat the Oklahoma City Thunder on Monday night, and then the Raptors beat the Hornets on the back of a game-winning Immanuel Quickley 3. So I guess what I'm saying is Immanuel Quickley is better than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
You are Locked On Raptors, your daily Toronto Raptors podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, what's going on? And welcome to another episode of Locked On Raptors, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. It is Thursday, January the 8th, and I'm your host, Sean Woodley. I've been covering the Raptors now for 12 seasons on various platforms. You can follow my work over on Blue Sky. Find the show on Instagram. You can join us in the Locked On Raptors Discord server. Link in the description of the podcast. 100% free to join. We'd love to see you come be part of our listener family. And boy, was it fun last night, especially for us IQ heads, baby, as the Toronto Raptors take down the Charlotte Hornets 97-96 in a gutsy, grimy, ugly win that they kind of stole from the Hornets. The Hornets led for pretty much the entire game. The Raptors pull it out at the end on the Immanuel Quickley buzzer-beating three. We'll talk about the redemptive elements of that three for Quickley, who's been going through it a little bit lately. We'll talk about the gutsy effort from the bench and RJ Barrett. We got the good, the bad, the and here to talk about it all is Katie Heindl. Katie, how the hell are you?
I'm doing good, man.
Not as good as me. A long time dyed-in-the-wool Immanuel Quickley believer who's been falling on hard times of late, Katie. Really great to see him pull that shot out last night at the buzzer. And I guess for me, the dramatic flair as well of him to kind of have the beats of story and drama to give up the potential game-winning basket to the LaMelo Ball just seconds prior by letting him totally walk by, knowing he had that three in the quiver to put it away. I thought it was really impressive stuff. Just great writing overall, Katie. But actually, overall impressions, takeaways, we'll talk about quickly off the top here. I think after the run he's been on of late, he's become something of the whipping boy for the fan base. I mean, him and Jakob Poeltl right now are kind of the Batman and Robin of catching crap from Raptors fans online. Really cool to see him have that moment last night, no? Got you mid-coffee.
Sorry, man. I thought you were still going, so I had a drink of coffee. The magic of podcasting. I think the three was actually a little bit, well, for me, it was a little bit redemptive because I really hated watching LaMelo dribble the air out of the ball between his legs. I mean, I understand the tactic of getting the clock down, but there was something extra
Kevin Hart-esque.
I was just like so on the nose, almost like caricature-esque, right, for LaMelo to do that. And I will say a little bit forebode, like they kind of set the scene of it because Quickley hit a three from the exact same spot to start the fourth quarter. So I was a little bit surprised that they didn't kind of chase him a little bit harder. But Scottie did set a good screen. So,
yeah, that was the talk of the team afterwards was, damn, that screen was real good. And it was a really nicely drawn set at the end there to get a good look off. Frankly, the Hornets should not be letting a look that good off at that point in the game. But yeah, for Quickley, I mean, look, this was not also like his best game either before the fourth quarter. I thought in the fourth when, Brandon Ingram is out, he misses the last 2.5 quarters of this game. Scottie Barnes obviously doesn't play for the lion's share of the fourth quarter, getting a knee thing checked out. Thankfully, he came back and seems fine. It really was until that fourth quarter when Quickley kind of got going. It was like, oh, is he going to get benched again down the stretch in this game? And I do think there was, if Ingram were playing and Barnes were playing the entire game, I think it's very possible, based on the way things were going with Quickley shooting in this one, that he may have gotten the hook near the end for Jamal Shed once again. Instead, him and RJ Barrett, who we'll talk about more coming up, kind of pull through. I don't know. It's tough to, you don't want to do like, could this be the thing that turns around Quickley's season or something like that? I think what will turn around his season is just like regular positive regression to the mean. He's not this bad of a 3-point shooter as he's been of late, but I don't know, Katie, you're the feelings czar. This has to have like some positive effect on Quickley's sort of psyche about things. No, it feels like he's been kind of wearing his poor play of late. It seems like it's kind of weighing on him whenever he's making decisions, whenever he's putting looks up, and it just kind of every miss seems to make that weight even heavier. There's got to be a bit of a release with this one, you'd think, no?
Well, when everybody is shooting that poorly, you're certainly not going to be the one that's in the spotlight when the team is shooting like 7 of 34 from 3.
At 1.2 of 24 or something.
Yeah, it takes the spotlight off you a little bit. But sure, I mean, I would hesitate to say like this is the moment because I don't think that's correct or accurate. Certainly, it's when he needed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I were texting about that in terms of just the redemptive feeling of it and him kind of needing to, I think, like punch out a little bit from the quagmire.
Sure.
Maybe he's gotten himself in there in the sense that he needed some momentum, but I think just like for all the chatter around Quickley. But what, like for me with Quickley, we were talking about this to start the season of just this being one of plateaus, right?
Yeah.
It's just felt like an incorrect kind of sample size for him to be like straggling this far behind
totally
the rest of the team in terms of consistency, production. It doesn't really feel accurate to the Quickley that we've known certainly last season, who, you know, like carried the team for stretches, I'd say. So it feels more like a correction.
Yeah.
But yeah, like consistency is definitely going to help that. And yeah, I mean, like who doesn't like, he was obviously feeling that shot.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like a winning shot like that when you're on the road, you know, and the team that you're facing has all but decided they've got you.
Yeah. We'll get into the Hornets thing later on. Just a baffling degree of owning of the Raptors compared to like the Hornets' actual quality as a team this season. The Raptors 2 wins, I believe, by a combined 3 points in the 4 games they played. Bizarre stuff. And yeah, I think like it's fair to have questions about Immanuel Quickley's ability to kind of fill the role the Raptors clearly thought that he was going to fill when they paid him a 5-year contract worth $32.5 million a year, right? Like, you know, it's the league creation stuff, the creating something from nothing stuff. Like that's not been there in the way you want from your starting guard. I've always maintained that, you know, the $32.5 million, yes, it's a big loud number. It's also like just kind of regular starter money. And it's not the max that I think a lot of people just sort of assume it's close to because they can't comprehend that the cap has gone up and numbers have changed. And he's the 61st highest paid player in the league and not the 20th highest paid player. But I still think those concerns are fair. You know, he can't really do much when he's just got a guy in front of him and he doesn't get a screen to help him. And without Jakob Poeltl, the pick and roll game that he's very good at is less of a potent weapon for him. And if the threes aren't falling, then yeah, it's a real problem because that is the thing that he provides the most value in is he's just a guy who can light it up from deep. And, you know, the volume maybe hasn't been there the way you want either. Like there are plenty of reasons to be disappointed with the Quickley experience this year. But I think if you are looking at the last 4 weeks of Quickley and the poor shooting over the last, I think he's over the last 21 games, he's shooting 33% from deep. If you think that's indicative of who he is as a player, I just think you're wrong. Like he's clearly had way higher peaks throughout his career and to the point of plateauing. Yeah, it's been a bit of it's been a long plateau for him of late, and he's got to bust out of it eventually. And if the team wants to do anything serious this season, he's got to be better. But I think he's still very clearly a better player than what he's been showing out there of late. And so, yeah, I don't know. Any last parting shots here on IQ? Just a fun, like, I love winning games like this, Katie. Just pulling one out of nowhere. It's a pretty good thrill on a random cold Wednesday night in January.
Well, Darko talked about that to end the game and just like the weight that's essentially been on Quickley because this is the first season where he's kind of coming into this full point guard role and what the calibration of that really looks like for him. And I think that's something that gets batted around because there's a sense that, and I've said it too, like maybe that's not the role for him. Maybe that's not where he's excelling. Sometimes that doesn't matter because that's the role that the team needs and wants you to play. You know, that's what your coaches have you slated in for because there isn't necessarily another person to take that on. Like Shed certainly can, right? But Shed also has his role on the bench for a good reason. Yeah. You know, and I know we're going to get into the bench and just the way that they essentially kept the Raptors in this game. So your team needs you to be a point guard. So even if there's a lot of discomfort there, which I think there was, honestly, for Quickley to start the season, that's, I think, also a reason perhaps why things are starting to slot a little bit more into place at this point, is because he's had some reps now. And I think that role is starting to look, it can still, this is the kind of like binary of it. Like you can be good at that role without it looking comfortable or natural, right?
Sure.
That's what, athletes at this level, they do have that skill.
Yeah, like I think, there's this thing with when teams are good but not perfect, it's this sort of like, well, how do we make it perfect? How do we sort of have everyone be absolutely optimized in their role? And like, look around the league. It's basically impossible to have a perfect basketball team. It's basically impossible to have every player fully optimized in their role. And like, this is what coaching is. This is what player development is. This is what just like being on a team is you kind of find ways to overcome the imperfections. And yeah, like Quickley's got a long way to go still. He's got to get the 3-point shot back and falling. Hopefully this one can sort of send him in the right direction and be the springboard to that wave of positive regression to the mean. But certainly I think just the full fourth quarter last night, not just isolated on the game-winning three. I thought he kind of realized, okay, like there's no Ingram, there's no Barnes, like I kind of got to do the thing here. And I think he very much did the thing. I think he had 8 points in the quarter, and looked way more like his proper self, kind of operating at peak capacity. Very encouraging to see, and a nice, awesome, very fun moment. We love a buzzer beater in these parts. We're going to come back on the other side here, Katie, get into the bench and RJ Barrett, the sort of guts of the gutsiest win of the season for your Toronto Raptors. We'll do that coming up in just one sec. Today's show is brought to you by Rocket Money. Let's be real, managing your finances can feel overwhelming between subscriptions you forgot about, bills that keep on going up, and trying to figure out where all your money actually goes each month. It's easy to feel like you're losing control, and who has time to track every transaction or hunt down hidden fees? I hate doing financial admin, and I bet you do too. That's where Rocket Money comes in, the personal finance app that helps you take control. It finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. I'm a big fan of the Planet Earth documentaries and all of David Attenborough's wares from BBC Earth. And it turns out all of those documentaries are spread across like a dozen apps. And it's very annoying. And so when I want to watch the new Asia series from David Attenborough, I got to subscribe to one thing. And then I got to cancel that later. And then I got to go subscribe to Apple TV Plus to watch his prehistoric planet thing. And then it's just very, very irritating. And I end up having all these subscriptions I've paid for that I keep on forgetting to cancel. Rocket Money is the thing I should be using to help me cancel those subscriptions once I've watched my good fill of David Attenborough nature documentaries. Let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals faster. Join at rocketmoney.com/lockedon. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. rocketmoney.com/lockedon. Today's episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. As we roll into the new year, there's a lot of pressure to chase a new you, but sometimes it isn't about reinventing yourself. It's about feeling a little less weighed down. Therapy can help you understand what's been holding you back by giving you an outside perspective on your emotions, motivations, and relationships. And that's why BetterHelp can be such a helpful place to start. Their therapists are fully licensed and work under a strict code of conduct. They help match you with a therapist based on your needs and preferences, so you're not doing all that legwork on your own. And if the match isn't right, you can switch to another therapist from their tailored recommendations anytime at no extra charge. BetterHelp has served over 5 million people with more than 30,000 therapists, and live sessions average a 4.9 out of 5 rating across more than 1.7 million client reviews. It's good to take care of your brain, to talk to someone about what's going on in your life. It's a heavy world out there. It's hard to make sense of it all, and having someone to talk about it with is a very useful thing. I've benefited from therapy myself in the past, and will continue to do so. BetterHelp makes it easy to get matched with a qualified online therapist. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/NBA. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/NBA. Back at it here with Katie Heindl, talking about the Raptors taking down the Charlotte Hornets 97-96 in a thriller in Charlotte. Also, a quick reminder, you can subscribe to the Locked On Raptors Everydayer Club. $5 a month, $50 for the year. Gets you ad-free episodes of the show every day, among a great many other perks, including a Locked On Discord with Locked On listeners from across the world. Very cool stuff. Link in the description of the podcast. Sign on up. It helps me out big time, too, if you want to support the show. This is a great way to do it. All right, Katie. This was a very gut-checky win for the Raptors. And this has been a year where they've had the luxury of kind of having their two best players healthy all season long, kind of weird that they both got hurt for the first time and missed any chunk of time in the same game. And to me, I don't know if there's a single person who was watching that game with Ingram out and Barnes missing the fourth quarter, or at least seemingly out for the fourth quarter before he came back, who thought against this Hornets team that has owned them all year long, they got this one. And they managed somehow to pull it out. I think it starts in the third quarter with the bench, where they had this just like all bench lineup just going ham for a few minutes to pull it back into a one possession game, I think, going into the fourth quarter. This is where you wanted to go in this segment here, Katie. I will give you the floor to wax poetic about the wonders of the Toronto Raptors bench last night.
I think they just kept the pressure up, right? And that's something that we've seen that bench unit do all season so far. They're a very good spark, but they're also very excellent with their execution. They turned 18, I think, of the Hornets turnovers.
Yeah.
Or do I have this reversed?
No, they turned him over a bunch.
22 points off 18 turnovers. So, and you could really see that. Like, there were some times when, Charlotte is no slouch in terms of deflections of their own, right? But it was almost the execution down the stretch. They didn't really know what to do with it. And I feel like that's where you see the experience and the reps of this bench unit come into play, because this is what they've been doing all season long. I think it's really become their calling card. You can't sort of rest or relax or really take your eye off the ball for a second, because they're in your face and they're pressuring you. And I think they recognize, that's what it takes to create a spark. I mean, it would at any game, but in a game like this where, you're facing an opponent who's for some reason just got your number in every single game so far that they've played you in, and when you're down your best two scorers, it was very impressive to watch. I think it was the correct amount of sort of scramble, frantic defense, as well as, okay, let's reel it in. Let's bring the pace back to our level and try and get this team to come to us, because that's the thing too. Like, Charlotte, when they're on, they can just hit sort of 3 after 3 annoyingly, it feels like. And they can also just get to the rim. Right. And that's another thing with that bench unit. You're like, okay, they're not really that big. So sustained pressure, how are they going to do that? But they found a lot of ways to get around them last night.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, the defense ratcheted up so damn hard as this game progressed. And I mean, it's not like the Hornets have not been absolutely rolling on offense lately, right? Like, they have been killing it as an offensive team. No Brandon Miller last night, but they've still, like, Con Knippel and LaMelo Ball have been playing quite well for them and have been driving really productive offense. And like, the Raptors defense just like keeps on holding up, and the bench, it's not necessarily, you look up and down the list of guys, it's not like you're looking at them and saying, hey, all of these guys are defensive ringers outside of maybe Jamal Shed and Jacoby Walter. You might say they're negative defenders, in sort of reputation at least. But Gradey Dick, played 12 minutes, didn't do a whole lot offensively, but I think he continues to play very sound, connected defense. I think Mamu continues to be just kind of like shockingly good guarding in space, considering what his reputation was coming in. And you couple that with, on the Mamu thing, just some unbelievably timely three-point shooting from him when they needed it so damn bad, to the point that it had Matt Devlin losing his mind on the broadcast in a blue way we're not going to play here on the podcast. Just go find my clip on Blue Sky if you want. It was pretty remarkable stuff. And like, again, incredibly timely, super gutsy, and just like the kind of win that like good teams pull out, the kind of win that like teams that are sort of worth your investment pull out. It was just, top to bottom, pretty fantastic stuff from the bench. And then you get to RJ Barrett in the fourth quarter, talking about guts. I mean, it goes down as one of the more impressive quarters I've seen from a Raptor this decade. Like, it was just like, he decided, okay, I'm not going to lose this game. Con Knippel, you're having a great rookie season, but you cannot stop me from getting to the rim. So I'm going to barrel my shoulder into your chest 10 times in a row and score whenever I want. And he just did that. 16.7 to 10 shooting in the fourth quarter, Katie. I mean, what can you say about RJ Barrett? I will ask you to say some things, but just like, you look at what he did and it's kind of leaving me gobsmacked. It was pretty incredible stuff.
I think the redemptive arc continues, that we started with here. We were talking about Quickley to start, but I think that still extends into RJ. If you want to think about like where traction has been historically, it's been with these two guys on the team.
Sure. Yeah.
Though I think everybody's eaten their words pretty well on that with RJ having been out, and the difference now with him back in the rotation.
Yeah.
The confidence, right, that he plays with, the sort of brazenness. I think again that's not something that I necessarily readily attribute to this team. Like it's not what I would say is sort of in their forward facing DNA. And that's fine. Like they don't need to be that kind of team. Though maybe RJ, maybe that's something that we need to, reckon with for RJ Barrett.
Yeah. I mean, he, childhood friends with Dylan Brooks. There was like a lot of Dylan Brooks in that performance last night. Just like, I'm going to rip your throat out, dog. Deal with it. It was pretty awesome. I mean, that the turnaround he hit to tie it, I think at 94 when it seemed like all was lost and he just kind of had to get something up. It was awesome. And it's funny. We a couple days ago on the show with Vivek, we were going through his shot chart for the season and looking at, he had taken exactly one long mid-ranger the entire season, just as this like streamlined, I'm catching, I'm going to the rim, I'm taking threes, and that's what I do type of thing. And with no Barrett, no Barnes, obviously the dimensions shift a little bit, and he's got to kind of put a little bit more on his shoulders and take shots that maybe he's not usually taking. And damn it if he didn't make them. He shot 1 of 7 from 3. It would have been nice to see more of those go for him and the entire team, but more than made it back up in 2-point range. And yeah, poor Con Knipple, I think, is going to have ice on his chest this morning. With
the team though, like the Hornets, you kind of have to win up close. Like you need to win in the paint. I don't think they have respect for a team that isn't a bit physical. Like they are an annoyingly physical team. Yeah. And are clearly trying to carve their identity out of that. Like, I think echoes of the Pistons and the Rockets' success in there. In terms of what works for them, and they're young and they have the legs for it, right? So to see RJ kind of go toe to toe and be very comfortable, right, with like not just getting to the rim but finishing even through contact. It was
pretty
sweet
cool stuff. Yeah. We'll come back to this side. Speaking of physicality, Moussa Diabate is a demon out there, and yet Colin Murray-Boyles did just fine dealing with him. We'll talk about that and more in the good, the bad, and the as we wrap things up coming up here in just one sec. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. The wild card round in the NFL is here, and FanDuel is officially in playoff mode every game day during the NFL playoffs. FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in on the action because right now, every NFL playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app. Each game day, you'll see a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts, so you can apply to the bets you like the most. Open your profit boost pack first thing on game day and see what boosts you want to apply. The boosts let you lean into your favorite game day picks and your game day instincts as well. You get more juice on the bets you already like instead of forcing you to bet something new. Every play feels bigger, and the boosts make your bets feel that way too. Maybe you are a fan of one of the teams playing in the NFL playoffs this weekend. Maybe you're a Bills fan who wants the Bills to win, but also wants to emotionally hedge against them losing. Bet against them. With these boosts, you'll win even more money if they lose. You'll feel even less bad if they lose. The emotional hedge is the way to bet if you're going to bet on sports for me. And you can do that this weekend in the NFL playoffs if you got a team in the action. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Wrapping things up here with the good, the bad, and the It's the way we wrap up every single episode of this here podcast on the heels of a Toronto Raptors basketball game, a thing we liked, a thing we didn't like, a thing that's got us a little intrigued from the latest in Raptors basketball. I'll start with my good Katie. Colin Murray-Boyles up against Moussa Diabate, who is just everywhere. He's elbows and muscles and shoulders and bulbous man all over the damn place. And yet Colin Murray-Boyles pulls down 15 rebounds in this game, playing center, continues to absolutely be equipped physically for the position, despite being a rookie who's 20 years old and is 6'7". It's incredibly impressive stuff. And the defense, I think, held up in this game more on the account of Colin Murray-Boyles than anybody else. That dude's incredible. And without Scottie Barnes, you'd think, oh, maybe part of the power of having Colin Murray-Boyles out there is gone. Nope, they were awesome on defense in this game, and a big part of it was Colin Murray-Boyles just doing the damn thing and then cleaning up the glass on the end of those possessions that he was very often the one causing a miss on. He's so cool. Katie, what you got for your good?
I'll stick with CMB. For me, though, it's his I guess his receptiveness, I would say, and his able to withstand the minutes reload that's being kind of tossed at him this season.
Yeah.
I think out of the gate, I didn't necessarily think they'd be leaning on him this much this season in his rookie year, but they are, and he's really risen himself to the occasion, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he's young, but like I was very surprised to learn the other day, like he's just kind of had one thing after another, whether it's sort of minor injuries or illnesses.
Yeah.
You know, he hasn't necessarily been, I mean, at this point in the season, nobody is 100%. But he especially seems to have taken these kind of physical knock after knocks. And it's not weathering him in a way that you would understand by watching him. So kudos to him.
Yeah, he's been really, really awesome. And the Raptors are 16-6 without Jakob Poeltl this season. I think that's right. Or no, the record's very good without Jakob Poeltl. I might have got that number a little bit wrong because I don't know math, but they're very good without Jakob Poeltl, and Colin Murray-Boyles is one of the biggest reasons why. The bad, Brandon Ingram got hurt. That's not great. It seems as though it's not a terrible prognosis. They did x-rays. They were negative. That's good. Seems like a sprained thumb. He's day to day. But, you know, he's been incredibly important. And as we saw through the second and third quarters of this game in particular, when Brandon Ingram is out on the floor, the offense has a very hard time, Katie. They have been 6.2 points per 100 possessions worse on offense when Ingram sits versus when he's on this year. They go from being like a pretty good offense when he's on to the worst offense in the world when he's off. It's not wonderful. Hopefully he's all right. It is, of course, his shooting hand, so keep an eye on that. But hey, they pulled it out. A theft of a win without Ingram playing all but 10 minutes in this game. But you hope he's all right. It's been awesome to see him be fully healthy this season, and you hope that can continue and that he doesn't miss any time with this thumb thing. What you got for your bad?
I feel bad saying it, but I'm not trying to pile on the dude. But Gradey, I think to me, well, like you did mention, like we've given him a little bit of kudos for the game.
Yeah, he's defending well. Everything else.
Yeah, and again, I don't think it's something that will last, but it is. We are into January. We are rolling up on the second half of the season pretty quickly, and I would like to see him have the rise, not just a permanent plateau throughout the season. I'm a little bit. I don't know. It's troubling is the wrong word. I'm trying to think. It's like 1 degree less of troubling to me, the way that he has not been able to put certain basic things together.
Yeah, I mean, he did have the really nice game against the Hawks on Monday, and you know, like he'll have these odd little games where it's like, oh, he had 11 points and didn't miss a shot, and then he'll go 3 games and not make any shots, and it's like, okay, man, just string them together a little bit, please.
Too. Like he can like really like last night was a good example of not, but like you know, lagging in just the defensive schematics, like kind of lagging even at transition, or just like the way that the Raptors have kind of like, this is the bread to their butter this season. He seems to be lagging even in those kind of now team tenants. Yeah.
We'll wrap it up with the My is more a a different onomatopoeia. Is that we don't have to see the damn Charlotte Hornets again this year, Katie. I did all good with that, and it seems like every time we look up, they're playing the Hornets. In fact, last night when I turned the game on, my wife was in the room and said, why do they play the Hornets all the time? She does not watch basketball or care about it at all. But even she noticed that LaMelo Ball is just never not on the TV screen. Yeah, really nice to be done with those guys. And I don't know why it is, but every time these two teams play, it's chaos. And frankly, I need less of that in my life right now. And thankfully, we don't have to see any more of those Hornets games. You got the work in early and finished up that horrid 4-game schedule against them before the halfway point of the season. It's a few for me. What you got for your Katie?
I'll go back to what we talked about with Quickley, with what Dargo pointed out about Quickley settling into this role of point guard. And that being what the team needs from him, right now or this season, so I am curious to see where that goes, how he settles in, what kind of yields from that. You talked about this as being like, is this a moral spark of a win for him? What does it look like with some consistency?
Yeah, I think it's a great shout, and we'll hopefully see coming up against a team that he's struggled against quite a lot on Saturday in the Boston Celtics. See if he can kind of get things rolling in the right direction and get that sweet positive regression wave. Katie, thanks so much for being here. As always, anything you want to promote for the good people out there?
NBA TV will be on there on Saturday. So tune in through the NBA TV app if you can't find it anywhere else.
Yes. Also, just like get cable. Cable is where it's at, baby.
Yes.
It's on NBA TV Canada. I can watch it on my television without having to go through 1,000 apps. It's a lovely thing. So go do that and subscribe to Basketball Feelings as well. Give Katie your money, please. You're gonna leave us there. We'll leave it there. We'll talk to you on Friday as Joe Wolfon's going to come by. We're going to play a fun, stupid little game regarding the trade deadline and potential trade targets. So you have that to look forward to with Wolf to close things out. Follow, subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend, and sign up for the Everydayer Club. If you want to get this podcast ad-free every day, you can do so. $5 a month, $50 for the year. It's much appreciated if you sign it up. It helps me out big time, and it's a nice way to support the show, which has been free for a very long time. We'll leave it there. Thank you so much. Talk to you Friday. Bye-bye. Ugh.